To us One Piece fans, the Straw Hats are like one big family. Not just to each other, but to us too. However, what kind of illustrious or not so illustrious families did they come from? That's exactly what we'll be exploring today as I look into each Straw Hat's family tree. I'm talking Luffy's mom, Zoro's confirmed parents, and much more. We are going to break down everything we know about their families, as well as discussing a few persistent and compelling theories, so make sure to stick around until the very end. Now, if you do enjoy these One Piece videos on the channel and you'd like to see more, you know what to do. Smash that like button. If you haven't already, join the Nakama by subscribing and hitting that notification bell to turn on all notifications. We are so very close to hitting that amazing milestone of 2 million subscribers here on the channel, so every subscription counts. And now, without further ado, let's jump into the family trees, spoilers and all. It seems more than fitting to start with Luffy, as he has not only a very interesting family tree, but also a bunch to get through. Starting with his dad, Monkey D. Dragon. Luffy's relationship with Dragon is still shrouded in mystery, and many details about their connection have yet to be revealed in the manga or anime. Monkey D. Dragon is Luffy's father and the leader of the Revolutionary Army, a group that opposes the world government. Luffy and Dragon have not had direct interactions or reunions in the series. Luffy himself was unaware of Dragon's identity for a significant portion of the story. The narrative has intentionally kept details about Dragon's past and motivations undisclosed, contributing to the intrigue surrounding the character. It's clear that Dragon has his own agenda and is involved in challenging the oppressive world government. Despite being family up until now, the contrasting paths and seeming lack of personal connection between Luffy and Dragon added a complexity and mystery to their relationship. Fans eagerly awaited developments that would shed more light on the connection between Luffy and his enigmatic father, Monkey D. Dragon. Fortunately, we did get some big reveals recently, showing why Dragon abandoned Luffy and how he truly feels about him. During chapter 1101, Kuma confronted Dragon saying, "You seem extremely familiar with this particular nation, and I couldn't help but notice you traveling to a little village at the edge of the country and watching a particular young lad." So even before Dragon helped Luffy escape from Smoker, it's clear that he cared enough about him to go back and visit him every so often. But then why? Why didn't he reveal himself to Luffy? Well, he answers that by saying to Kuma, "Keep going if you want to see me killed. Children are a vulnerability for any parent," end quote. In other words, Dragon cares too much about Luffy. Someone could take advantage of that if they, for instance, kidnapped Luffy and used him to get to Dragon. Dragon pretty much admits that if it came to him or Luffy, he would give his life. So when Luffy was still weak, Dragon did his best to keep his distance so no one would target Luffy. Considering that many took Dragon for a deadbeat dad for the majority of the series, this was a game-changing reveal into his true thoughts and motivations. Next, we have Luffy's legendary grandfather, Monkey D. Garp. Garp is Luffy's grandfather and a vice admiral in the Marines. Despite their familial connection, their relationship is characterized by a unique blend of love and conflict. Garp, like his grandson, is known for a strong sense of freedom and is famous for turning down the position of admiral multiple times due to his desire to live life on his own terms. This love for freedom seems to have been passed down to Luffy. Garp deeply cares for Luffy, but their conflicting ideals and roles in the world create tension. Rather than Dragon, Garp was the one who raised Luffy. By leaving Luffy with Garp, it allowed Luffy to grow up away from the influence of the dangerous world of pirates and revolutionaries associated with Dragon. But then, of course, Shanks happened. Despite being a Marine, Garp loves his grandson and has shown moments of pride in Luffy's achievements. However, their conflicting allegiances, Garp being a high-ranking Marine and Luffy being a pirate, create a complex dynamic. Garp is torn between his duty as a Marine and his love for his grandson, and this conflict is evident in several instances throughout the series. For instance, Garp couldn't bring himself to capture or kill Luffy during the Paramount War, and even had to be restrained by Sengoku after Ace was killed by Sakazuki. Otherwise, Garp would have been trying to kill Sakazuki rather than Luffy. So although he is a Marine and he is torn at times, to me it's still pretty obvious that the grandpa side was always stronger. We have to look at Luffy's sworn brothers Ace and Sabo too. Monkey D. Luffy's relationship with Porcus D. Ace is one of the most emotionally charged and impactful aspects of the One Piece series. Ace is Luffy's adopted brother and a significant figure in Luffy's life, contributing greatly to the emotional depth of the narrative. I mean, Ace's death at Marineford has to be one of the most heartbreaking and memorable moments in the entire series. Luffy and Ace share a bond that goes beyond blood relation. Ace, whose real name is Goldie Ace, is the son of Pirate King Goldie Roger. Luffy, unaware of this connection for much of their early lives, simply considers Ace to be his brother. They share a common dream of becoming pirates and sailing the seas in search of the legendary treasure One Piece. Their relationship is characterized by deep love, loyalty, and mutual respect. Luffy admires Ace for his strength, independence, and big bro-ness. Ace, in turn, cares deeply for Luffy, often acting as a big brother figure who is ready to sacrifice pretty much everything for Luffy's well-being. Just think once more about the heartbreaking sacrifice at Marineford, where he took Sakazuki's deadly punch so Luffy wouldn't have to. But let's take a closer look at this pivotal moment in their relationship which occurs during the Marineford arc. Ace is captured by the Marines and sentenced to execution. Luffy, driven by an intense desire to save his brother, launches a daring rescue mission leading to one of the most emotionally charged and tragic events in the series. Ace's death profoundly impacts Luffy, leading to a significant shift in his character. Ace's passing becomes a driving force for Luffy's journey, reinforcing his commitment to become the Pirate King and protecting those he cares about. Luffy's relationship with Sabo is another emotionally significant aspect of the One Piece series. Sabo is also like a brother to Luffy. Luffy, along with Sabo and Ace, formed a strong bond during their shared childhood in the Great Terminal of Windmill Village. Despite facing difficult circumstances, the trio dreamed of becoming pirates and sailing the seas together. However, tragedy struck when Sabo seemingly died in an incident, leaving a lasting impact on both Luffy and Ace. The revelation that Sabo is alive and well is a significant moment in the series. In direct contrast to the loss of brother Ace, the reunion between Luffy and brother Sabo is filled with positive emotions. Sabo's return also plays a pivotal role in the Dressrosa arc, where he becomes a key ally in Luffy's quest and helps him navigate the challenges posed by the Don Quixote pirates. You gotta love to see the brothers' shared commitment to their dreams and their willingness to support each other in the face of adversity. And although some fans felt cheated by the Sabo reveal, since it arguably felt like Sabo came from nowhere and was wedged into the well-established brother Ace and Luffy dynamic, I'm still glad that Luffy gained a brother he thought he'd lost after the tragic loss of Big Bro Ace. And the fact that Sabo is cool, a revolutionary, and the successor of Ace's Flame Fruit makes me even happier about his inclusion into the story. After all, how could we imagine One Piece without thinking of the Flame Emperor these days? Now, the lingering question in regard to Luffy's family tree is of course that of who is Luffy's mother. Well, of course, we don't have a confirmed answer for that, but that hasn't stopped people from speculating. And one of the most persistent ones, as crazy as it sounds at first glance, is that Crocodile is actually a woman who was turned into a man with Ivankov's Horu no Mi, and that would be the secret weakness that Ivankov uses to blackmail Crocodile in chapter 540. Crocodile used to be a woman, and not only that, he is literally Luffy's mother. This theory got even more attention when during the live-action Netflix adaptation of One Piece, we see a woman with serious bling around her neck getting screen time during Roger's execution, and people are speculating it's Crocodile before his transformation. On top of that, the Luffy actor for Netflix's One Piece let it slip in an interview that Crocodile was in this season, and then think of how Crocodile has come back into relevance because of Cross Guild lately in the manga. So yeah, either way, it seems like we're gonna find out what that secret is that Ivanka was talking about, and this theory is surprisingly looking less crazy by the day. Up next, let's look at Zoro's family tree. Despite being a descendant of the Shimotsuki family, Zoro appears to be utterly clueless of his connection to it and the people he has encountered throughout his life. It is unknown what, if any, relationship he had with his father and mother. Sword god Shimotsuki Ryuma, the famed swordsman of Wano, is Zoro's ancestor. Fans may recall Ryuma from the Thriller Bark arc, in which it was revealed that Moria had taken the famed samurai's body and reanimated it with Brook's shadow. Ryuma was a renowned warrior who was revered as the god of the blade in his day. It hasn't been confirmed exactly what year he lived, however, it is possible that he lived during the Void Century. Ryuma once slayed a large dragon in Wano, earning him a high reputation, and that was only one of swordsman Ryuma's remarkable accomplishments. Ryuma's clan, the Shimotsuki, kept their bloodline going, and they remained active in the plot of One Piece. Zoro met Ryuma by chance during the Thriller Bark arc, and it wasn't until Wano that it was revealed that Zoro and Ryuma had a lot of similarities. For starters, their combat techniques are remarkably similar. Furthermore, Hyogoro stated on Origashima that Ryuma, like Zoro, was a one-eyed samurai. Zoro doesn't just share a connection with Shimotsuki Ryuma though. The fact that Zoro resembles Shimotsuki Ushimaru was revealed in the Wano Country arc as well. However, no further insight was provided to fans until the SBS corner of volume 105 of the manga came out. Oda presents a full family tree of Roronoa Zoro in it, and it has now been verified that Zoro shares blood with Ushimaru. A ship departed Wano illegally and landed in the East Blue over 50 years ago. Shimotsuki Kozaburo, a famed swordsmith from Wano, was aboard this ship, according to the manga. However, he was not the only Shimotsuki clan member on the ship. Shimotsuki Furiko was also aboard the ship according to the SBS. This lady is none other than Zoro's grandmother. She is also the elder sister of Shimotsuki Ushimaru, whom Zoro resembles so much. when Kosaburo arrived in East Blue, he found his own community, Shimotsuki Village. There he also built a dojo, which was eventually taken over by his son Shimotsuki Koshiro. Meanwhile, Zoro's grandmother Furiko married a swordsman in the village named Roranoa Pin Zoro, which is where the family name Roranoa comes from. The name was subsequently handed down through the family and finally ended up with Zoro. Zoro's family tree goes on to reveal that Shimotsuki Furiko and Roranoa Pin Zoro had a child and they named him Roranoa Arashi. Given that both sides of his family had swordsmen, it may be assumed that Arashi, Zoro's father, was also a skilled swordsman. What fans do know about Arashi is that he perished in an unknown fight against pirates in the East Blue at an unknown period. However, before he died, Arashi married a lady named Tera. Oda, like with Arashi, has not disclosed much about Tera. Oda just describes her as the daughter of thieving bandits. And we know that Tera means earth in several languages. Perhaps Zoro gets his green like grass hair color from her. Arashi and Tera obviously had the child we know as Roranoa Zoro. Tera became critically ill and died as a result of her sickness. So with both of his parents supposedly dead, Zoro was left an orphan. It is unknown whether Tera died soon after giving birth or whether she nurtured Zoro till a particular point in time. Zoro then went on to learn the way of the blade in the village's Shimotsuki dojo, where he met his cousin Kuina. It's unclear whether Zoro is aware that Kuina and he are biological relatives. Regardless, fans now have a complete family tree for Roranoa Zoro, and it is an understatement to say that Zoro too has an interesting past and origin. And I'm personally sure that Oda won't leave the story of his parents as footnotes in an SBS. I'm sure we'll come back to his father at least at some point in the story. I've even discussed theories on the channel that Zoro's father may not be dead at all. Perhaps Arashi faked his death or pulled a Sabo and got amnesia and doesn't know he is Arashi. I mean, think about it. Are we really meant to believe that the descendant of sword god Ryuma and another swordsman family whose silhouettes look a lot like Mihawk, mind you, was killed in a random battle against unnamed pirates? Nah, there has to be more to it. As mentioned, I've discussed both how the silhouettes look like Mihawk before, although I think we can all agree Mihawk being Zoro's father would be a bit much. Still, there's no reason they cannot be related in some other way. And aside from that, I also mentioned the now less talked about but once popular theory that Zoro's father could be Green Bull. This would assume that Arashi didn't physically die in the battle against pirates, just his identity, Wesley becoming Dread Pirate Robert's style. This theory doesn't seem as crazy when you think about all the parallels between Green Bull and Zoro. They were both introduced while fasting, and Zoro broke his fast when a girl fed him, while Green Bull said he might break his fast if a girl fed him. They both got green hair and are predominantly associated with the color green. Sanji calls Zoro a moss head, and in his forest human form, Green Bull literally looks like he has a moss head. They both suck at directions and love booze, and the list goes on as outlined in my Zoro's father video. But one last and big detail mentions that Zoro and Zoro's father's ancestor, Ushimaru, wore green bulls on his clothes, so it could be a meaningful symbol passed on in the family and thus a fitting admiral name for Zoro's father. Again, not saying any of these theories are 100% true, just briefly mentioning some interesting and hard to ignore theories. Moving on, let's look at Nami. We don't know who Nami's real parents are or where she came from in the first place. What we do know is that Nami was discovered by Nojiko when they were both children, and that the two were later discovered by Belmir, who took them in and eventually cared for them. Let's take a look at her relationship with Belmir. Nami was an orphan living in Kokoyasi village when Belmir discovered her. Belmir, despite being a marine, showed compassion and took Nami and Nojiko in as her own daughters. She provided them with love, care, and a sense of family in an environment where they had previously lacked stability. Belmir's relationship with Nami is that of a mother and daughter. Belmir's love for Nami is evident in her actions as she worked hard to provide for and protect Nami and Nojiko. Her decision to adopt them and give them a chance at a better life reflects her selflessness and maternal instincts. The most heart-wrenching moment in their relationship occurs during the Arlong Park arc, where Arlong, an infamous fisherman pirate, demands a substantial amount of money from Nami's adoptive mother. In a heartbreaking turn of events, Belmir sacrifices herself to save her daughters, refusing to let Arlong harm them. But perhaps more importantly, she sacrifices herself because she cannot even for a moment allow herself to not acknowledge the two as her daughters, even if it means her life. The event leaves a lasting impact on Nami, shaping her character and influencing her motivations. Nami's pursuit of wealth and navigation skills, which she uses to create maps for Arlong, are initially a means to free her village from Arlong's control. However, after the village is freed, she continues to use her skills in order to support the Straw Hats and in order to chase her dream of creating a complete map of the world. The emotional resonance of Nami's character is deeply tied to her relationship with Belmere. The sacrifice and love that Belmere displayed became a driving force behind Nami's determination and her eventual joining of the Straw Hats. The memory of Belmere continues to influence Nami's actions, and it serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of family and the impact of selfless acts of love and sacrifice. Then there's Nojiko. Nojiko is several years older than Nami and took on a nurturing and protective role after the death of Belmere. She became a source of strength and support for Nami during challenging times, especially in the aftermath of Arlong's occupation of Kokoyasi village. Despite the hardships they faced, Nojiko remained a constant stabilizing presence in Nami's life. The depth of their bond is evident in the Arlong Park arc, where Nami's painful past is revealed and Nojiko's role as a supportive sister becomes even more pronounced. Nojiko's understanding and empathy contribute to Nami's emotional healing and resilience. Nojiko not only provides comfort but also encourages Nami to pursue her dreams and find happiness beyond the traumas of her past. After Nami joins the Straw Hats, Nojiko remains in Kokoyasi village, continuing her life there. However, their connection remains strong and Nojiko serves as a reminder of Nami's roots and the love they shared as a family. Throughout the series, Nami's relationship with Nojiko is a testament to the enduring power of familial bonds even when faced with adversity. Nojiko's unwavering support has undoubtedly played a crucial role in shaping the Nami we know today, the strong and determined navigator of the Straw Hat crew. Next up, let's look at Usopp's family tree. Usopp's father is Usopp. Usopp is a sharpshooter in the Red-Haired Pirates, and his absence from Usopp's life has played a significant role in shaping Usopp's character and dreams. Usopp left his family, including Usopp, when the latter was very young, to pursue his adventures as a pirate under the command of Red-Haired Shanks. This departure had a profound impact on Usopp, as he grew up idolizing his father's sense of adventure and the romanticism of a pirate's life. However, Usopp also grappled with the longing for his absent father. Despite the physical distance, Usopp's influence on Usopp's dreams is unmistakable. Usopp aspires to become a brave warrior of the sea and a great sniper, much like his father. The story suggests that Usopp inherited his exceptional marksmanship skills from Usopp, making their connection even more significant. The opportunity for a reunion between Usopp and Usopp is anticipated by fans, as it could provide closure and further character development for Usopp. It's clear that Usopp harbors both admiration and a sense of longing for his father, and meeting Usopp again could potentially offer an important emotional resolution for Usopp's character arc. Then there's Usopp's mother, Banchina. She was a kind and supportive mother who deeply cared for Usopp. Her impact on Usopp's character is a key factor in his dream of becoming a brave warrior of the sea and a great storyteller. Tragically, Usopp's mom falls ill and passes away, leaving Usopp an orphan at a young age. On her deathbed, even though she tells Usopp to stop being stupid and that his father is not coming back for them, she still says she's proud she married Usopp. Usopp's mom told him to become a brave man like his father, and so it's probable that Usopp's dream of becoming a great warrior of the sea is further motivated by his mother. Just like his father motivates him, his mother's dying wish likely serves as a source of inspiration for Usopp, motivating him further to pursue his dreams. Moving on to Sanji's family tree. Sanji has had a troubled relationship with his family, the Vinsmoke family, especially with the men of the family. Their regal pride and single-minded concentration on power and combat clash with his personal goals and love of cooking, but there's much more to unpack here. Starting with his father, Vinsmoke Judge. Sanji's relationship with his father, Vinsmoke Judge, is a complex and strained one. Judge is the head of the Vinsmoke family, a powerful and technologically advanced family of genetically modified superhuman assassins. Sanji is the third son of Judge, and was born without the enhanced physical abilities and combat skills that characterize his siblings. We'll get into why he was born that way later. From Sanji's perspective, his relationship with Judge is marked by emotional and physical abuse. Sanji was treated as an outcast within the Vinsmoke family due to his perceived weakness, and Judge considered him a failure compared to his genetically modified siblings. This treatment left deep scars on Sanji's self-esteem and contributed to his desire to escape the clutches of his family and pursue a different path in life. Judge, on the other hand, sees Sanji as a disappointment and as a disgrace to the Vinsmoke name. He views emotions and compassion as weaknesses, traits that he believes hinder the strength and success of the Vinsmoke family. Judge's strict and cold approach to parenting stands in stark contrast to Sanji's values, particularly his deep respect for women and his aversion to violence against those he perceives as weaker. The climax of their strained relationship occurs during the Whole Cake Island arc, where Sanji confronts his family to protect his friends, particularly his captain Monkey D. Luffy. The arc delves deeper into Sanji's past and explores the psychological and emotional trauma he endured within the Vinsmoke family. Then there is his mother, Vinsmoke Sora. Sora was the wife of Vinsmoke Judge and the mother of Sanji and his siblings. Unlike Judge, Sora was a kind and compassionate woman who disapproved of the cruel and inhumane experiments conducted on her children, which aimed to enhance their physical and combat abilities. During the events of Whole Cake Island, it is revealed that Sora had a significant impact on Sanji's development. She secretly acted against Judge's plans for Sanji, arranging for his emotions and compassion to remain intact. Sora's actions preserved Sanji's humanity and kindness, making him the compassionate and chivalrous person he is known to be. Sanji's love for cooking and his respect for women are definitely tied to his kind mother. In fact, she helped spark his love of cooking when he messed up a dish that he took to her and she called it yummy. He was overjoyed, and that inspired him to keep practicing cooking even when he was imprisoned and kept in an iron mask. Sora's influence on Sanji's character is one of the more emotionally impactful elements of the narrative, and especially of Sanji's backstory, showcasing the positive impact a mother's love and values can have even in the face of insane levels of adversity. And we're talking your brothers always beating you up and your father turning you into the man in the iron mask levels of adversity, just to be clear. Sanji's sister Vinsmoke Reiju is the only sibling among the Vinsmoke children who showed Sanji kindness and empathy during their childhood. Reiju, being the eldest of the Vinsmoke siblings, seemed to have a more compassionate nature compared to her brothers. Unlike the rest of the family, she didn't harbor contempt for Sanji and was willing to help him when he faced adversity. Reiju, in many instances, secretly aided Sanji by providing him with food and expressing concern for his well-being. During the Whole Cake Island arc, her complex relationship with Sanji is further explored. It is revealed that she released Sanji from his prison and helped him escape his horrible Vinsmoke existence. However, her actions are not purely unselfish. When she was nice to Sanji, it was in secret, while she is still loyal to the Vinsmoke family and carries out their orders publicly. Despite her conflicted loyalties, she maintains a level of respect and understanding for Sanji. She recognizes his kindness and the differences between him and the rest of the Vinsmoke siblings. Their interactions, particularly during the Whole Cake Island arc, delve deeper into the nuances of their relationship and the internal conflicts faced by Reiju. Sanji's relationship with his brothers Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji is marked by deep-seated conflict and a stark contrast in values. The Vinsmoke siblings were genetically modified by their father, as mentioned, Judge, to become superhuman assassins, devoid of emotions and conditioned for combat prowess. Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji view Sanji with disdain due to his lack of enhanced physical abilities and his refusal to conform to the Vinsmoke family's ruthless ideology, at least at first. They see him as a failure, a sentiment fostered by their father's belief that strength and power are the only measures of worth. Sanji detests his brothers and the Vinsmoke family for their cruelty and lack of empathy. His clashes with his brothers highlight the stark difference in their principles. Sanji values compassion, chivalry, and respect for women, which are traits he retained due to the intervention of his mother, Sora, who opposed Judge's values and modifications. The animosity between Sanji and his brothers reaches another peak during the Whole Cake Island arc, where their conflicting ideologies come to the forefront again. Sanji's refusal to conform to the Vinsmoke way of life and his emotional attachment to his friends, particularly the Straw Hats, intensified the friction at times, but when the Big Mom pirates betray the Vinsmokes, we do see them working together on the same side, which allows for the possibility of them being on the same side again in the future despite their differences. At the end of the day, despite the tragic backstory, we can't say Sanji's relationship with his siblings is simply one of hatred. As we saw during the Whole Cake Island arc, it's more complicated than that. And just as Sanji came to their rescue, they also helped Sanji and Luffy escape. Next up, let's look at Chopper's family tree. Chopper's biological family is a herd of reindeer that abandoned him because he is different. Initially rejected because of his blue nose, he is abandoned further after consuming the Hito Hito no Mi, which gave him two un-reindeer-like humanoid forms. He finally crossed paths with them again during his time with Hiriluk, when he was beaten up by them. His left antler was shattered. Chopper's relationship with Dr. Hiriluk is a heartwarming and significant aspect of Chopper's character development. Hiriluk is a quack doctor living in the Drum Island Kingdom, and Chopper initially meets him when he's in need of medical help. Dr. Hiriluk is an eccentric and compassionate character who lives by the philosophy that a person can be cured with love and laughter. Despite his unconventional methods, he is genuinely caring and becomes a mentor and a father figure to Chopper. His positive influence on Chopper goes beyond just medical knowledge. He teaches Chopper valuable life lessons about the importance of dreams, self-worth, and the ability to make a difference. Chopper's admiration for the Doctor is evident in how the Doctor's philosophy shapes Chopper's outlook on life. Hiriluk's dream of curing any disease with a cherry blossom miracle also becomes a guiding force for Chopper. The cherry blossom, symbolic of Hiriluk's hope and love, hold deep significance for Chopper and represent the embodiment of his mentor spirit. Tragically, Dr. Hiriluk's life is cut short, but his legacy lives on through Chopper. Hiriluk's final moments and his speech deeply impact Chopper, motivating him to fulfill Hiriluk's dream and become a great doctor. Then there was of course his adoptive mother, Dr. Kureha. Chopper's relationship with Dr. Kureha is another significant informative connection in his life. Chopper first meets the doctor on Drum Island, where she serves as a doctor and is renowned for her medical skills. Initially, Dr. Kureha seems stern and demanding, but her tough exterior hides a caring and wise nature. Kureha takes Chopper under her wing and becomes his mentor after the passing of Hiriluk. Despite her gruff demeanor, she imparts valuable medical knowledge to Chopper, helping him grow into a skilled and compassionate doctor. Under her guidance, Chopper not only hones his medical abilities, but also learns about the responsibilities that come with being a doctor. One of the key moments in their relationship is when Chopper decides to leave Drum Island and join the Straw Hat Pirates. Dr. Kureha, while initially appearing unsupportive, ultimately gives Chopper her approval and encourages him to pursue his dreams. This moment reflects her belief in Chopper's potential and her acknowledgement of his growth. Their bond also adds a touch of humor to the series, as Dr. Kureha's eccentric personality and Chopper's reactions to her antics create entertaining interactions. Despite the age and personality differences, there is a mutual respect and affection between them. Dr. Kureha's influence on Chopper extends beyond medicine. She teaches him about life, determination, and the importance of pursuing one's dream. Her role as a mentor and guide plays a crucial part in Chopper's character development, contributing to his self-confidence and sense of purpose. Moving on, next we have Nico Robin's family tree. Nico Olvia is Robin's mother, and their connection is deeply intertwined with the larger narrative of the series, particularly the history and mystery surrounding the true history and the Void Century. Robin's childhood was marked by tragedy when her mother, Nico Olvia, left their home to pursue archaeological research, ultimately leading to her involvement with the mysterious and forbidden poneglyphs. The world government branded the poneglyphs as dangerous, and Robin's mother became a fugitive. This decision had severe consequences for the island of Ohara, as the government executed the infamous Buster Call, destroying the island and most of its inhabitants. Both Robin and Olvia were there at the time. Olvia's concern was Robin. She was very proud of her daughter, that she had learned to read the poneglyphs. She loved her, but also had to be true to herself and decided to sacrifice her life in the hopes that knowledge of the past would be passed on to the next generation. It was her way of not giving up on the future. Although Robin didn't understand at the time, Olvia reassured her that she will understand someday, before she told Saul to leave and take her daughter to safety. Olvia was also very touched that Robin called her mother and thanked her for it. Her final wish was for Robin to live. Despite the physical separation, Olvia's legacy significantly influences Robin's life. Robin inherits her mother's passion for archaeology and the deciphering of the poneglyphs. The deep connection to the mysteries of the Void Century and the true history becomes a driving force for Robin, leading her to seek the knowledge that her mother pursued at the cost of her own life. Back when her mother Olvia, along with other archaeologists, embarked on a 6-year expedition to investigate the poneglyph, 2-year-old Robin was left in the care of her brother's wife, Roji. Although she was sorry to have to leave Robin, it was something she felt she had to do. Roji despised Robin and abused her, treating her like nothing more than a slave. Thankfully, Uncle Oran would defend Robin, his sister's child, so I guess it could have been worse. Robin had a father as well, but she never met him and his name is unknown. However, when Olvia was boarding her ship to leave for the expedition, she was told that, and I quote, "If you can't leave your child, then don't come. We'll fulfill your husband's wishes," end quote. So clearly this suggests that her father was also an important scholar and the others wanted to fulfill his wishes. Olvia responded though that she is a scholar of Ohara and cannot abandon the will of those who came before. She planned to come home when the mystery was solved, but things didn't work out so perfectly as we know. Next up we have Frankie and his family tree. Frankie is the son of pirates who have not been named. His parents appear to have been unimpressed with his childhood creations, as they were the reason he was dumped into the sea at the age of 10. Frankie seemed to detest them for it, and that's why when Odin asked him about joining Roger's crew, he replied, "A pirate? No way. I just got abandoned by pirates," end quote. Despite not being blood relatives, the whole Frankie family was created by him to care for Water 7's quote-unquote failures and rejects, such as Zambai. The members of the group are extremely close, referring to each other and others on good terms with them as sister and brother. They are Water 7's misfits, like people who aspired to work for Iceberg in the Galila Corporation, but failed the entrance exam to become shipwrights. As a result, they had little choice but to resort to Frankie, who also feels himself to be a failure. And of course, we gotta mention Master Shipwright Tom, the mentor who became like a father figure to him after after his pirate parents abandoned him. Tom was none other than the man who could proudly claim that he built Pirate King Goldie Roger's ship, so definitely a good mentor for Luffy's shipwright. Tom praised Frankie for his ingenious creations. It's clear these two meant a lot to each other. Tom was going to be pardoned after building the Puffing Tom for previously building Roger's ship, but after Spandam used Frankie's battle Frankies to attack Water 7, Tom decided to take responsibility for Frankie's creations. He used his pardon to save Frankie and thus still had to pay for his own crimes. Whether those should have been crimes in the first place is another story. He was being escorted by his own sea train to Ennie's lobby. Frankie actually tried to stop the train, but was run over. He had to become a cyborg because of the injuries he suffered from trying to save Tom, the man who saved him. Tom helped inspire Frankie's dream of building a ship that would proudly sail over uncharted waters all the way to the ends of the world. And he instilled in him the lesson that a shipwright must be proud of his creations, even if others use them for evil. Moving on to the family tree of Brook. The members of Brook's biological family are unknown, but the closest thing we know he had to a family were the Rumbar Pirates. Brook's relationship with the Rumbar Pirates is a deeply emotional and significant aspect of his character backstory. The Rumbar Pirates were a group of musical pirates, and Brook was a musician and second captain. The Rumbar Pirates, including Brook, shared a strong bond forged through their love of music, adventure, and camaraderie. They traveled the Grand Line together, facing the challenges of the sea while spreading joy through their music. Tragedy struck the Rumbar Pirates during their journey when they encountered the deadly plague. As the crew succumbed to the illness one by one, they faced the dilemma of what to do next. Captain Yorkie and the other infected were left behind, and they hoped to exit the Grand Line. Meanwhile, Brook and the healthy continued forward. Sadly, everyone except Brook, who survived because of the revive fruit, met their end after a battle with pirates who used poisoned weapons. Not gonna lie, poisoned weapons is a good idea for a pirate crew. But anyways, before the poison finished off the crew, they sang one last time, recording it with a tone dial, which Brook planned to take to Laboon. After the death of the Rumbar Pirates, Brook continued on and eventually met the Straw Hat Pirates. He joined the crew, bringing his musical talents and the memories of his former crewmates with him. And now he still plans to keep their wishes going by returning the right way from the Grand Line and meeting Laboon again. And of course, Laboon the whale is the closest thing to family that Brook still has from his past life. A lonely Laboon actually started following the Rumbar Pirates after he was separated from his whale family, and thus they became his new family. They cheered up the lonely whale with music. Brook is actually the one who named him Laboon. When they entered the Grand Line, they were surprised to find that Laboon had followed them. When they had to part ways, the crew promised that they would return after traveling all the way around the Grand Line. And Laboon waited and waited. Eventually, he couldn't take it anymore and started slamming into Reverse Mountain, hoping to destroy it and that his friends would be on the other side waiting for him. It's one of the most touching aspects of One Piece, no doubt, and I can't wait for that Brook and Laboon reunion. Next up is Jimbe and his family tree. Jimbe's real family is unknown for now, but we do know he grew up as an orphan and that he grew up with his sworn brother Fisher Tiger. Jimbe's relationship with Fisher Tiger is rooted in their shared history as members of the Sun Pirates, a fishman crew that fought against oppression and discrimination. Fisher Tiger was a legend and was the captain of the Sun Pirates, and Jimbe served as his first mate. Fisher Tiger was a formidable and charismatic leader who vehemently opposed the mistreatment of fishmen and merfolk. He was known for his uncompromising stance against slavery and discrimination, and his actions were driven by a desire for freedom and equality. Under Fisher Tiger's leadership, the Sun Pirates fought against the world nobles, who were notorious for their oppressive treatment of fishermen. Jimbe deeply respected Fisher Tiger and admired his commitment to justice. Fisher Tiger's influence on Jimbe was profound, shaping Jimbe's own principles and convictions. Their time together as Sun Pirates created a strong bond between them, and Jimbe carried Fisher Tiger's ideals with him even after Tiger's death. The final and bonus Straw Hat family tree to look at is Vivie's. Though not a member who joins the crew on the big adventure, she is considered a part of the crew by the core Straw Hats, so we'll add her here to the list. Vivie's relationship with her father, King Cobra, is characterized by love, duty, and the responsibilities that come with being royalty. King Cobra was the man who ruled over Alabasta, and Vivie was his beloved daughter and princess. Throughout the Alabasta arc, it becomes evident that Vivie cares deeply for her father, and the feeling is reciprocated by King Cobra. Despite the political turmoil and conspiracies that threaten the stability of Alabasta, their familial bonds remain strong. King Cobra is shown to be a wise and caring ruler, concerned for the welfare of both his daughter and his kingdom. As the conflict in Alabasta intensifies, Vivie faces the difficult task of balancing her duty as a princess with her desire to save her country. King Cobra understands the challenges she faces and appreciates her courage and determination. He acknowledges Vivie's strength and commitment to Alabasta. When Vivie chooses to remain in her kingdom to rebuild and govern, her decision is a testament to her loyalty to her people and her commitment to carrying on in her father's footsteps. King Cobra is proud of his daughter's choices and trusts Alabasta's future in her capable hands. Queen Titi, Vivie's mom, died many years before the present storyline. Because of this, we don't know much about the relationship she had with Vivie, but Vivie definitely gets her looks from her. We also recently found out about the very important Nefertari de Lily. Lily, who seems like yet another Vivie lookalike, was the queen during the Void Century 800 years ago and one of the 20 monarchs credited with founding the world government. However, they didn't actually know she was a D. Unlike the others, she didn't choose to become a Celestial Dragon and go to Marijoa, but she never made it home, as Cobra points out before the elders. Her little brother took the throne instead. We recently found out that Lily made a mistake, or at least the world government thought it was a big mistake, and it is thanks to her that the poneglyphs were scattered across the world. Once Cobra finds out about this and reveals that her letter was signed with a D, Imu immediately goes to eliminate him, and he does die despite Sabo trying to save him. So it makes sense that someone in Vivie's family tree would do what Lily did. And it turns out that Vivie, being a just ruler and an ally to the Straw Hats, is following in her footsteps 800 years later. And those are the family trees of all of the Straw Hats, with all the information we have at this current moment, and of course, some fun theories thrown in there as well. If you want another big One Piece video to check out after this one, then you don't want to miss my hour-long video on the legend Shanks. If you did enjoy this video and you'd like to see more One Piece videos on the channel, make sure to let us know by smashing that like button. If you haven't already, make this the video you join the Nakama by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss future One Piece videos and updates. You'd also be helping us reach that insane goal of 2 million subscribers. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.